Hey guys, Silas J here with another Python video. In this video, I'm going to go over the last type of variable in Python, and that is the dictionary. We have finally made it to the last variable lesson. Aren't you excited? You know what? This deserves a celebration. So go grab a snack and let's start. Okay, let's start with the definition of a Python dictionary. A dictionary is a collection of elements, just like the other types of variables in Python. Its elements are changeable, unlike the set and tuple, and they are ordered, just like the tuple and the list. Similar to the set, dictionaries do not allow duplicates. Every element must be unique. The only difference between the dictionary and the other types of variables is how these elements are created. Dictionaries are made in key-value pairs. With a list or a tuple, the elements are in a collection, and to access them, you pass an index. With a set, elements are also in a collection, but can't be accessed with an index. But with a dictionary, the elements are in pairs. The first part of a pair is called the key, and that is how you get the element you want. The second part of the pair is the value of the key. The key always must be text, also known as a string encoding, and the value can be anything. It can be changeable or not changeable. It can be a dictionary, a list, a set, etc. The value pair can hold whatever. Let's look at an example. I have a dictionary and it has the key name people, and it has a list as its value. And the list contains the names Silas, Trevor, and Nate. People is the key of the dictionary and the list is the value. If I wish to access the value, all I would have to do is pass the key name people, and that would give me the value, which is Silas, Trevor, and Nate. I could give you another example, but let's just dive into code and see how this works. Okay guys, I'm here on my desktop computer, and I actually have a snack. It's the last video of the lesson, so might as well have a snack. Real good. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is open up our IDE and create a file. And I'm going to call this mydictionary.py. And we're going to jump straight into creating a dictionary. So like usual, you always have to create the name. So I'm going to call this my dictionary. And we're going to set it to a dictionary practically. So the way to create a dictionary is to have the left and right closing brackets. So here we go. And that's how you create a dictionary. Let's just close this. And there we go. And now we're going to fill it up with data. So to fill a dictionary, or to create one, you have to have key and value pairs. So to create a key, it has to be in a string or a text. So that would be quotations, and then whatever you want to name your key. In this case, I'm going to do people. Now for the value, you first have to put a colon, and then you could put whatever you want for your value. And for this, I'm just going to put a list. I'm going to fill the list with Silas, Trevor, and Nate. You could put whatever you want. You could even put numbers, but for this example, I'm just going to go put a list, and it's going to have names. And now I'm going to print this to the terminal. We get this. We have the dictionary here. We have the key. This is the key. And we have the value, which would be this. And we have Silas, Trevor, and Nate. And the list is our value. And inside the list is the names. So that's kind of interesting. It's almost like any other variable. You put data into it, and you print it to the terminal, and you get exactly what you have in your variable. But now let's try to access an element. So let's say I want to access Silas here. I could not just put Silas like that, because that would generate an error. And I cannot put an index like an index of 0, which would be like this, because dictionaries do not have, you cannot access dictionary elements by indexes. The way to access a dictionary element is to get the key name. And we only have one key in here, and that key name would be people. So I would get the key name, people, And now if I print that to the terminal, there we go. This is the value that we have in people: Silas, Trevor, and Nate. So that's how we would get the key value. Now if I wanted to get Silas, now since this is a list, we can actually use an index, and we could put index 0 because lists and tuples, they use indexes. Sets, you cannot access them with an index, and you cannot access them by a key. And with a dictionary, you would access the element by a key name. So that means now, if I run this, I get Silas, and that's exactly what I want. So let's try get Nate. And by getting Nate, I would have to do is I could do 0, 1, 2 for the element, or I could just do -1. And that gives me the last element that I want in a list. And if I do that, now you can see I have Nate. Anyway, that's all cool and all, but now let's go put some more keys in a dictionary. A dictionary does not only have to have one key, it can have as many keys as you want. So we have people now, but let's say that we have a key name just specific. Actually, let's do something else. Let's say we have people here, and we have another dictionary inside of a dictionary. And like I said, a dictionary can have any value. It can hold any type of value. So you can have a dictionary inside of a dictionary, inside of another dictionary. So people will have another dictionary, and we'll have Silas. This is getting messy already, so actually let's clean this up a bit. So we'll have Silas, Trevor, and Nate. And there we go. Oh, whoops. And there we go. And we're going to do age here. And now you can see why dictionaries are pretty powerful, because now we can say age. Let's say my age is this, 17. I can do skills. And now we can have a tuple instead of a list, because a list can easily be modified, but I don't want my skills to be modified. Or I could want my skills to be modified, but in this case I don't. So I'm going to have a tuple here, so my skills cannot be modified, and I'm going to pass in soccer, that's a skill, coding, another skill, and website design, and that's another skill. And then one more key and value that I'll put in my dictionary for Silas is going to be, whoops, you have to have it in text, favorite food. And now we're going to have a list for this, because, you know, actually no, we're not going to have a list for this. We're going to have a set. No, we're going to have a list, because my favorite foods might change in time, so we're going to have a list for that. And my favorite food, we'll just do hamburger and pizza. And there we go. So this is the whole dictionary. So Silas is the key. This is the dictionary, but we have another dictionary. So practically, this is how it works. We have one full dictionary, and inside this dictionary we have a key of people, and we have a value, and the value contains all of this. And the value has 3 keys and other 3 values. We have one key called Silas, and it has a value of age, skills, and favorite food. We have another key called Trevor, and it's empty so far, and we have another key which is Nate. So let's just fill those up with some data there. There we go. So we have finally filled up the keys for Trevor and Nate. They have their own values now. Now, for example, let's say I want to access Silas's age, how I would do that is I would get my dictionary, which is here. I would go into the people key, which is this one here. If I had a different key, then I would not want this key, I would want this key, the people key, because I want Silas's age. So I go into the people key, and now I have another list of keys. So to access Silas's age, I would go, since Silas is a dictionary, also, I would get Silas. And then to access Silas's age, I would do age. And that should give me, actually this will give me, not should, it will, give me Silas's age. So if we run that, I should see age 17. And that's what I see there. Let's just try to clean this up. There we go. 17 right there. And that's Silas's age. Now, let's try to go get some of their skills. Now let's say I want Trevor's skill. So we have Trevor, and let's also get one of Nate's skills. And we have Silas. And we want to look at their skills and see all their skills. So how I would do that is I would go get skills instead of age, and that should show me all of their skills. So you can see that shows me Silas has 3 in here, and Nate and Trevor have 2, and that's because I have 3 and they have 2. Hockey and outdoors. So that's how you access the elements in a dictionary. Now let's say I just want the first skill. All I would do is, since it is a tuple, I would just access or pass in the index 0, because that is the first element of the list, or tuple I should say. It's a tuple, not a list. Run that, I have the first skill, soccer, hockey, and hockey. Let's say I only want the keys of people, so I don't want to know anything about them, I just want to know their name. How I would do that is I will print my dictionary, and since I want to know all the names of the people that are in there, I'll get people. And dictionaries come with a handy function, so you don't have to do this manually, and it is keys. And that is how you shall get keys of any dictionary. So if I run this, I should see the names Silas, Trevor, and Nate, because they are the keys. And you can see it says dictionary keys, and right now it's in a list, Silas, Trevor, and Nate. And so that is how you get the keys of a dictionary. Now if you want the values, well, you already know how you get the values of that. You would just pass in, let's say, the key, you would just pass in the key name, and that's how you get the value of that key. So to get the value of Silas, which is this whole object here, then I would just pass in Silas. If I wanted the whole object of Trevor, I would pass in Trevor. And if I wanted the same with Nate, then I would do the same. Okay, so now that we know how to get the keys, we know how to get the values, we know how to index and access a dictionary, that means it's time for a challenge. Okay, I'm back here with a challenge. This is going to be a long challenge. Actually, only it looks long. It's not too long, but it still is going to definitely be a challenge. Anyway, so the first thing I want you to do is to create a tuple and call it emails and fill it with the emails, or the strings, I should say, of dude@gmail.com, weird@gmail.com, and snack@gmail.com. Next, I want you to create another variable that is also going to be a tuple and call it passwords, and fill it with the passwords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Then I want you to create a list and call it names and fill it with the names Silas, Trevor, and Nate. Remember, they're also in quotation marks, so that means they're going to be a string, which we're going to speak about what a string is later. And then I want you to create a dictionary. And this is where it gets a bit more intense. So the first part of the step is to create the first key and set the name of that key. So call the key the first element of the list that's in the names variable. So the name of the key should be the first element in this variable. called names. And then I want the value of the first key, and the value should also be a dictionary. So you have a dictionary, then you have the key, then you have another dictionary. That is going to be the value. I want you to create a key in the dictionary, and I want you to call it email. And I want the email to be set to the value of the first element in the email variable. So email should be the key inside this new dictionary, and I want the email to be set to the value of the first email in this variable. Next, I want you to create another key and call the key password, and it should have the value of the first element in the password variable. After you do that once, I want you to repeat the same step 2 more times. I want you to create a second key, and it should have the name from the list, from the second element in the list called names. And then I want you to create a value for the second key, and it should be a dictionary, and the first value or the first key in that dictionary should be called email, and it should have the value of the second email in the tuple. And then I want you to create a second key, and it should be called password, and it should have the value of the second element in the password variable, which should be like this one, 456. Then I want you to do it again, and then print all that, which it doesn't say here, but print to the terminal. So, try that, and when you're finished, come back and see how to do that. Okay, so that might have been a bit challenging, and if you didn't get it, that's fine, because it was a very challenging challenge there. But let me show you how to do that. So first I said create a tuple, and create another tuple, and create a list. And that one, the first tuple should be called emails, the second should be called passwords, and the third should be called names. So let's hurry up and do that. Emails equals, and it should just have all of this right there. So that's the first value. Then create a tuple. Remember, tuples have the parentheses, so make sure yours had that. And then I said create a list and call it names. And names has the brackets. So tuples have the parentheses, lists have the brackets. The names were Silas, Trevor, and Nate. There we go. I said create a dictionary, and I didn't say what you should call a dictionary, so I'm just calling it my dictionary in this case. Actually, no, I'm going to call this Gmail list. And there we go, we have the dictionary. And now, the hard part. Create the first key and set the name of the first element. Create the first key and set the name from the first element of the list called names. So the name should be the first element of the list called names, which is the list here, and that should be Silas. So that would be names index 0, because this is the first element of the list. And this is the hard part. Then I wanted you to create another dictionary. And how to create dictionaries, that's it. And this is a dictionary right here. And I said set the first key to email. So email, and its value should be the first element in the email variable, which is this one. So emails index 0, because tuples and lists always start at the index 0. Then I said, then I want you to create a second key and call it password. So call that password there, and set to the value of the first element in the password variable, which is, whoa, what is this? This is not what I expected. There we go. And there, so that's passwords, and the first element of the password is 0. And then I wanted you to do that again, but this time for the second. So that would be index 1 for this one. This would be index 1, and this would be index 1. And then I wanted you to do it again, and this would be index 2, this would be index 2, and this would be index 2. And that is actually the challenge. This would give you the second key. This would give you the second name. So this is the second name here. This would be the dictionary all over again. This would be the first key, and it would have the second element in the email variable, which is here. And then I said create another key called a password, which we have here, and get it the second element, which is the second password practically from the password variable, which is here. So if I run this, print this to the terminal, print Gmail list, run that, and here you can clearly see it says Silas, email is dude@gmail.com, his password is 123, Trevor is the second one, his email is weird@gmail.com, and his password is 456, and we have the next name, which is Nate, and his email is snack@gmail.com, and his password is 789. So that is practically it. If you were able to successfully do that challenge, great job. If you couldn't, that's still fine. You are still just try to do it again until you get it done and do it correctly. And that's it for dictionaries. So we have finally finished the last variable lesson. I hope this video helped you, and if you like this video, then please give it a like. And if you want more videos like this, then please hit the subscribe button below, and see you in my next video.